be impactful through silence.
Die-in protests were held in different cities around the country, laying on the streets, reenacting the death of Trayvon Martin in Florida, Eric Gardner in New York, and Michael Brown in Missouri. These protests are using silence to express their voices. Good evening, and thank you for choosing ABC 6 News at 10. I'm Megan Reisted. Similar scenes of protests can be seen nationwide. Tonight, Rochester had its own demonstration, and organizers are calling it a united front. ABC 6 News reporter Hannah Tran has more on the peaceful demonstrations that brought out dozens in downtown Rochester.
Hands up! Don't shoot! Hands up! Don't shoot!
The wave of demonstrations has reached Rochester.
No justice! No peace! No justice!
The biggest quote that I got tonight was that people appreciated it, they needed it.
Hands up! Don't shoot!
It's a complex dynamic of demonstrators without any boundaries in race, background, or age.
We don't want to grow up in a world like this.
Protests are gaining momentum again after another grand jury decision to not charge a white police officer in the chokehold death of Eric Gardner, an unarmed black man.
I can't breathe!
Communities of color are overwhelmingly impacted by police brutality, but communities of color do not have the power to affect the kind of change that is necessary.
Hands up! Don't shoot!
Protesters stopped traffic on Broadway Avenue in downtown Rochester.
Hands up! Don't shoot!
It was a small-scale mirror image of the blocking of Highway I-35 in Minneapolis, one that created a debate on the effectiveness of recent protests.
And they are deflecting what the problem is.
So to help guide the conversation, the Rochester movement's leaders say it's imperative to involve the big players.
Where all people, both the aggrieved as well as those people who are perceived to be the perpetrators, can sit down and have a conversation.
Can't take no more!
It's not a time to establish friend or foe, but to only make silence the enemy.
You can feel injustice, you can see injustice, then remain silent. What you're doing is siding with the oppressor.
In Rochester, Hannah Tran, ABC 6 News.
What do we want? Justice! When do we want it now?
This isn't the first of its kind. As we've reported, a smaller group in downtown Rochester also gathered last week to promote peace. They held signs and marched from North Broadway toward the Government Center. They say they marched to show support for Michael Brown and his family.